Hi, I am Marcos Fava Neves, a professor at University of São Paulo in Brazil. Since I'm receiving several messages in the last 5 to 10 days of personal friends, discussion groups of what's going on in Brazil, I decided to produce this short video just with the simple wish to contribute to your knowledge about what's going on in Brazil. The fever today is that the Amazon is being burned. The whole forest, huge size, fire all over, and it's going to be gone in 30 to 60 days. And then we don't know what's going to be produced in that region, so the world will lose the famous Amazon forest. This is what's going through discussion groups, fake news, and all these kind of things. So let me address 5 or 6 topics to try to help. First topic is that you must realize Brazil as an environmental power today. Why are we environmental power in the world? Because Brazil has the cleanest energy metrics among the big countries of society. Most of the sources of energy, electricity that we use are renewable, and it's important for you to realize. Different from the rest of the world, Brazil has 61% of its area totally preserved. Yes, 61, more than half. And it's not reducing, it's increasing because of our forestry code, and that's another topic in my issue towards the environmental power. Brazil has approved 5 or 6 years ago a tough forestry code, environmental code, where farmers have to set aside areas and recover with the natural forest that we had. In the state of São Paulo, for you to have an idea, it's 20%. It's 35% in the Cerrado regions, and it's 85% in the Amazon region. Also, Brazil had a strong participation in the Paris Agreement and was one of the signatories to sign the most impressive targets towards the environment. One of these targets will be achieved through RenovaBio. It's the program that Brazil has to increase the use of renewable sources of fuel in our car, mostly using sugarcane, corn ethanol, and biodiesel. Remember that today, almost 40% of the fuel that Brazil uses, and when you put in the smaller cars, it goes to 60-65, is ethanol, 100% ethanol, which is a renewable source of fuel. So Brazil today, it's very unfair what's going on because it's the #1 country to try to help the carbon economy, to try to help the environment and make things better. Second topic, the burning. So why the forest is burning? Well, first of all, the forest is not burning. We have some spots of burn in the forest, which are happening in the last 15 years. Why? This is the dry season in Brazil. So we have natural fires, we have fires started by criminals, and we have fires that are done by legal activities because you can, as I told you, use 20% of a land if you own a farm in that region. So these are traditional fires. They happen in the last centuries, and they are not increasing. If you compare, go to NASA website, you can see they posted 2 or 3 days ago the amount of fires going on. We have more fires than last year, which would be probable because the Pacific Ocean is a little bit warmer this year. Temperatures are higher, but in average, probably the number of this year is smaller than the average of the last 15 years. We don't know it yet. We have to wait in order to make up our opinion. If really someone is destroying the whole forest. My hypothesis is that we're going to have the number, and the answer will be no. It is an area, it's important also for you to know, it's an area very difficult to control. Because imagine all that side of the forest, the size, the area is tough, it's aggressive. We have a bankrupt state in Brazil. Remember that this new government came in January, and we have a fiscal debt incredible, and trying to cut all over to see if we can stand up again as a society. So yes, to monitor the area, to enforce the legislation that we have is something that we should figure out how to improve, with the help, of course, in my opinion, of the international community. So now you understood that Brazil is an economic and environmental power. It is why the burnings happen every year. Then we have to understand why this year it received so much coverage in the press. And that's a question I don't know how to answer. But it went through artists, it went through people. You received probably a lot of information in the last 3 or 4 days. Most of these were fake news. I received it, and you may have received pictures of kangaroos burning. They don't live in the Amazon. Giraffes, they don't live in the Amazon. Dehydrated rabbits, not from there. We had a president of a country, Leonardo DiCaprio, Cristiano Ronaldo, all nice guys, but they also helped to send the fake news, putting pictures that are not from the Amazon, putting pictures that are 5 or 6 years ago of a specific area of the Amazon. So this gained like a tsunami all over society, and it helped to damage the image of Brazil. So we have to pay attention in this. Why did it explode in the media? What's behind the idea of everyone complaining this year about Amazon? What did change for people to complain? Another topic number 5 that I'm worried about is, why do we have people trying to link the burnings in the Amazon, accidental, criminal, and others that we have to stop, of course, with the food production in Brazil? Why is there a linkage? Which interests do we have behind people doing this type of linkage? Since Brazil is becoming a world food supplier, most of our food chains are 2,000 kilometers away from the Amazon. They have certificates from Rainforest Alliance, WWF. We supply orange juice to the world, coffee, soybeans, poultry, small farmers, cooperatives, integrating people, bringing development to our economy. So why do we have people trying to link the burnings up there in the Amazon to the agribusiness and the food production of the country? You have your own ideas and think about this. And about the future. So Brazil today is producing food for the world, is helping food to become cheaper in the world because of our efficiency that's translated to international prices. So more people in poor countries can have food because of Brazil. And what's the future? So today, Brazil uses 75 million hectares to produce grains, sugarcane, paper and pulp, juices, fruits, tobacco, and others. The plans for the next 10 years, because of the growth in Asia, urbanization, and all these kind of topics, is to move to 85 million tons. So from 75 to 85. You know what's the area of Brazil? 850 million hectares. And agriculture will use 85 million hectares. 10 years from now, 10% of the country. So no, food production in Brazil, the growth will not destroy the Amazon. We don't need to increase our production getting rid of trees. There are lots of areas of degraded pastures that are close to infrastructure and that can be brought to production. So what to do now? I just ask you, calm down a little bit. The forest is not burning. It's gonna still be there. It's gonna be controlled. So wait for the numbers to appear and the measures being taken by the Brazilian government. And I can tell you, our society, I, myself, we are all in favor of Amazon. No one wants to see the forest destructed. The forest does not need to be destructed. We have an environmental code. We have institutions in the country. So it's not an idea of a person that will change what our society wants. calm down, wait a little bit, and let's see what happens. Believe in Brazil. Believe in Brazil.